Tokenmetrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com.
We are live from Consensus 2022 in Austin, Texas. This is the Market Update. I'm your host, Bill Noble. This show is brought to you by tokenmetrics.com. If you need a roadmap in crypto and you need to stay out of the way of this shockwave, subscribe to this channel. If you've been listening to the wrong people, the good news is you're now listening to the right people. If you like the content, please give us a thumbs up. All right, let's welcome to see who's on the street, who's on the stream. Okay, Soli Soul giving me some love. Routine Cheese is here. Welcome. Right, East Tennessee, Arkansas, London, Athens, Greece is here. Right, Calgary, Alberta. Right. Portugal, yes, the t-shirt is still red, still going with one of the 8 notorious shirts. Okay, Peru, Brazil, Romania, Driftless Crypto here from Wisconsin, Tampa. Bob Marsh says VeChain signed a deal with the UFC and it's still going lower. But it does reaffirm that, there's a lot to like about VeChain, even if, the coins you like, you get hosed on, right? I was at a DYDX party last night. It was like practically a melee to get into it, and DYDX does nothing but go down. But they get some interesting alpha about all the things they're doing with that protocol. It's almost like they're building a huge liquidity mechanism between over-the-counter and automated market making. So, I mean, it was pretty cool, right? That and, I actually got to hang out with BitBoy. I got my Notorious shirt on. He's got his Gucci shirt on. So, maybe one day I will be able to upgrade to like maybe a Gucci branded Tokenmetrics or a Gucci branded Notorious shirt. Who knows? XRP, we're going to cover that as best we can. Okay. We have India here up late at night. All right. We have Jai says shorting the market. Crypto Crazy says, Bill, you are worldwide. Actually, it's kind of funny. I'm standing in line last night for DYDX. And some dude comes up to me who had met me at the Bitcoin Miami conference in 2021. So I put on the Notorious shades and we took a cool picture, right? And it seemed really meaningful to the guy. And that's good. It's good that I'm helping people, having an impact, right? But I can't have an impact if you're not tuning into the show. And that's why I appreciate you tuning into the show. All right. We have Chicago, Illinois here. All right. Routine Cheese wants to see me come out of a red Lambo. Sir, I'm an extra large person, so perhaps we might have to get a large truck or something like that, but I appreciate the sentiment. All right, now let's kick into your market update. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to do some news, right, to give context as to what's happening. All right. So let's begin with the obvious, right? Inflation is a disaster. We know this. Of course, the equity market and even crypto Twitter, shame on them, they were drinking this Kool-Aid that inflation was going to top and the Fed wasn't going to be able to tighten past September. The Fed's draining $90 billion a month out starting in September. And as we've said over and over, both on the stream and on my Twitter, that the Fed had a meeting with the president where they explained to the president that we have to get on top of this right now. And we're sorry we have to do it before the election. But, the chimpanzees in the equity market don't get it, right? They want to go up 10%. And the only way the Fed's going to stop inflation is to stop the wealth effect. And the only way to stop the wealth effect is to wreck equities. So that's why equities were down yesterday, because the number was leaked, right? The number wasn't leaked. They just all woke up and go, maybe this is not the smart thing to do. Don't fight the Fed. I mean, it's like market learning page 1. Don't fight the Fed. When the Fed tells you, and they did tell you, they told you, they told you what they were going to tell you. They told you, and then they told you what they told you. Say that 5 times fast, right? Or if you're in the equity market, say it once, and you don't have to get smoked like they are now. I mean, S&P futures are going down like it was ETH, for God's sakes. Okay, VeChain. Oh my God, I can't stop loving VeChain as a product. Token is terrible like everything else. VeChain inks $100 million marketing deal with sports franchise UFC. What's the point? Build in a bear market, right? Everybody who missed it on the way up, maybe like UFC, they're going to come in and they're going to do lower priced partnerships than they could have done in a bull market. So UFC is going to be in, Major League Baseball, DC Comics, Marvel, little guys innovate in NFTs, create the bubble. That brings in the big players who want to do deals, right, for the future. So little guy innovates, big guy wins. Bubble bursts, big guys step in, start partnering up. And this is the type of research you need to do for what's next, whether it's VeChain or DYDX, or we may look at Secret Network, Stellar, and Tezos. Little off-subject topic here. Stellar and Tezos may wind up testnets for central bank digital currencies or new stable coins, right? All these stable coins are going to have to manage their Ethereum collateral risk, okay? So this is not just about VeChain today. This is about building for the future. RAI picked up Stellar last week, picked up Tezos this week, right? And there's a theme along with this news, right? Market, life hands you a bear market, build. Okay, that is the end of the good news. So ETH FUD is out there. So one of the themes that I've been talking about, which, again, I can't even get anybody's attention on this even when they're intoxicated, is this whole idea that if the market breaks, it's going to be like 1929, where every single leveraged person is going to get liquidated. Not because we hate crypto, not because we don't believe in crypto long term. So I did a video where I kind of made that clear, but no one's listening to this 1929 argument. They're just not, right? They're not hearing that it's going to be way down, bounce. Everyone thinks it's over, back down, marginal new low. It's going to be unbelievable. It's going to be epic, and you're in the right place to manage and navigate that. Now, one of the things that's going to create the epic selling is, some sort of contagion. So Credit Suisse in the legacy market, that's a huge Swiss bank. They're already kind of blowing up, right? They've announced negative earnings. I would imagine an American bank is next. All the American banks are down. Goldman stock looks like it can go 20% lower. In DeFi, it looks like there's this thing going on between, there's Celsius Network, Lido. There's a lot of stuff going on with staked ETH, okay, where people had liquid staking, meaning you could stake your ETH and use it anyway inside DeFi platforms, okay? Now, these were all great experiments, but the thing is, when everything starts going to the wrong way, right, and they start using the word contagion, you have to worry. So a lot of times you're supposed to fade the media, but when the media starts using the word contagion, okay, that is in itself contagious, right? Everyone goes, oh my God, there's contagion in legacy. Oh my God, there's contagion in DeFi. And then you have to remember, if they got problems in legacy, theoretically, they're backed by central banks. In DeFi, in a decentralized system, there's no such support, okay? Will 26 billion staked ETH 2.0 be sold after the merge? So there's a lot of ETH being staked at Coinbase, I believe, okay? So again, this reporter says that later this year, 13 million ETH will be unlocked once ETH moves over to proof of stake. Will this cause a sell the news event? So this is an area where the media is getting it wrong, okay? The once the unlock happens, it will be by the event. Okay. So it's like sell the rumor of this, buy the fact when it happens. So if you're like, wait a minute, 2 days ago, ETH was at 1,800 and nothing was happening and support was holding around 1,700. And then in 2 minutes, it vaporized, right? It's because sell the rumor is now in effect. On DeFi contagion, stable coins have got ETH in their treasury, and he who manages their ETH downside risk wins. So it's a race to see who can sell first. And of course, this says nothing about Bitcoin, Sailor, Musk, and any other levered players, including long-term hodlers. In other words, right now, I'm just talking about just the ETH problem. Okay. Now, the Ethereum Testnet successfully merged to proof of stake. So this happened 2 days ago, but we didn't cover it. So we're covering it now. So back up a second. Like let's go from the front to the back. Testnet successfully merged. Cool, right? But that creates all this rumors of unlocks. Okay, sort of like ETH, staked ETH on Lido, depegging, Coinbase or whoever's got all this staked ETH, it all gets unlocked. So it turns out as the narrative develops, right, ETH moving to ETH 2.0 is a long-term positive, but could be a short-term negative. If stable coins have collateral in ETH, they have to sell. If DeFi protocols have got ETH as collateral, they have to sell. And then everybody gets worried that the staked ETH out there in the world will get sold. That's going to make everybody sell faster. That's going to liquidate levered longs. And that's how you get 1929 just off news articles, not just charts, right? But again, there's a limit as to how hard I can pound the table on it. And really, the market's kind of doing me a favor. I mean, yeah, it's going my way, but the overall point, and then we'll jump into the PowerPoint, is this. You don't think whatever you got can go a lot lower? You best recompute that quickly. Okay, quickly. All right, let's go over to the PowerPoint for your market update. Blue Jay, you're Jay Powell. I said, I want capital markets down. Capital markets rally in your face. Your job's hard enough as it is. And then you have to deal with disobedient, disillusioned chimpanzees who want to pretend like everything is all right when it isn't. Poor Jay. The dollar busting out with this chart. Haven't done so in a while. Everybody thought I was out of my mind. On the left-hand side, you can see what happened to the dollar the last time we had massive inflation in 1979. The dollar index went from 75 to 150. Now we have, this is a quarterly chart, 3 months. So we have a teacup, we have a handle, right? Handle was a little annoying, but when the PC era was invented, the dollar went up. When the Fed threatened to stop printing in 2014, the dollar went up a little. Now the Fed is done, right? They're done, right? Yeah, there's going to be a recession, stagflation. The marketplace has leapt to the inevitable conclusion that when the Fed hikes rates, things will get wrecked. They haven't focused on the fact that the Fed wants them to get wrecked. You don't get it. People are not getting this. Meanwhile, the Japanese and the Europeans are doing everything they can in their mind to save their bond markets because their central banks are like gigalong debt that had negative yields. I mean, it's almost like, I guess in bonds, it's like, if bonds were Solana, the ECB and the Bank of Japan bought Solana at 220 in massive size for years. And now they have to do something. And what they're doing is, to make a long story short, they're sacrificing their currency. They're indiscriminately printing to save their bond markets. That's what they're doing. So if they print yen, if they print the euro, the dollar goes up almost by default, right? They just don't care. They're just going to massively increase the supply. And, the dollar's at 100. And every time the dollar goes up, dollar index goes up 2 points. I have to listen to crypto Twitter telling me, oh, it's a top. Crypto's going to go up. I'm like, oh, my God, dude. The target of this teacup and handle formation in dollar index is 142. Like, that means dollar yen at like 220. The euro at 70 US cents. Okay, Americans are going to be traveling well in a year. It's if they have jobs and money, right? So this dollar formation is telling you two things. One, stocks are effed, right? Because American goods get more expensive abroad as the dollar rallies. Two, normally the dollar and VIX go together. So on that note, this is the VIX daily chart. So it's like not the teacup and the handle, but it's just this rounding bottom or saucer bottom, depending on what kind of old school technical analysis textbook you happen to pick up. So, VIX hit the bottom of the cone. I don't know, not the cone, of the cylinder, like 26. It bounces, upside target 70, post-COVID low, post-COVID high of 90 is possible. The bottom line is fear is too low in equities, given what's already going on in the dollar. So the dollar goes up, fear in equities should follow. Fear in equities is following. And this is Friday, June 10th. Okay. What do you think is going to happen on Monday when everybody realizes that everything they've been doing for the last 2 months has been idiotic in equities? Right. I mean, it's good. Monday feels like bidless. And then there's poor crypto caught in the middle of this. Right. Crypto's caught in the middle. I mean, crypto didn't really want to go down after the number. Okay. But then when equities showed zero bounce, right, all of this sell the rumor stuff starts. The race to get out of your ETH or hedge your downside risk in ETH is on. Right. Just completely pile on shamelessly. I have been publishing this 2008, 2002 kind of analog. Equities love that final spike up. Equities love to go up before everybody gives up. Right. Back then, it was the realization that Lehman Brothers going bankrupt was going to kind of blow up the system and cause a run on the banks. So now that everybody realizes that Jay is just going to have to go off, right? I mean, funds have to get to 5% as soon as possible, right? The sooner he does it, the better. Now, if he opts for the incremental path, it doesn't matter. It doesn't, right? Stocks are ridiculous. Earnings are going to collapse. Rates are going up, right? And people's appetite for risk is just going to shrink, right? So everybody thinks that they're safe in S&P. A lot of the altcoins of the stock market have already gotten destroyed, but everybody thinks they're safe in NASDAQ 100. Everybody thinks they're safe in FANG. Everybody thinks they're safe in S&P. And what have I been saying about the things that people think they're safe in? Dun, 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 dun. See it, right? Done. Okay. Let's go to support and resistance on ETH. So this morning we had 1752 as a level in ETH. ETH was so annoying. God almighty. It went back and forth between 1752 and 2000. Okay. And it even broke 1752 and then squeezed everybody back to 1800. Again, super annoying, super typical of what happens when you're trying to be short. And then, of course, when you're like in crypto, you're just like, oh my God, can we just stay in the range so I can go to consensus and, I don't know, buy a bunny NFT or whatever. What happens? Boom. It breaks support. It vaporizes. No one's paying attention. And the next support level of any merit is at 1566. And I got that on our quant-based stuff that you see here. And I got that somewhere in DeMark. All right. Now, this is a log chart, so if things get totally ugly, there's like 1350 and 1050. In case this thing just gets stupid. It's really not about whether or not you like ETH or long-term views or anything like that. It's just a question of where does everybody stop selling? Right now, in the short term, I'm guessing that's 1350. That's a guess, right? So 1566 is the logical target. Everything always overshoots the logical target on the upside and the downside. So between now and June 14th, I'm guessing you're looking sub 1500. Nothing personal. Not that I'm down on crypto, right? No one wants to hear it, but the fact of the matter is this can go a lot lower. And again, this is just June, right? There could be a bounce into July 5th, and then we could do all this again, right? So don't think ETH can't go to 1050 between now and July 14th. Now, after that, probably a huge bounce. But people are still under the impression this can't go lower, and they best wake up quickly. Okay, ETH wave count, right? Start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. What is that? It's a series of ones and twos. What's that? Elliott wave speak for the potential start of a sharp downtrend. So the market stays in a range. You get bored. You get stopped out. It's happened to me, right? You start saying, gee, should I be this negative? Yeah, you should be, right? I don't want to be negative on crypto for the future, but I do want to just basically tell you that they can mark this thing down, and it has nothing to do with whether or not crypto is great for the future or not. So this is already toast, right? There was big DeMark support around, say 1700. The DeMark count on the ETH weekly chart is I don't know. It's like 1 to 2 weeks away from maybe putting in some kind of a bottom. But again, 2 weeks in crypto is a really long time. Okay, so if you got a bottom that's 1 to 2 weeks away, you might get a counter trend rally into July 4th, and then boom. Okay, that's when you get the big drop. And I think that's the buy point, at least for the tactical, like 100% return. But that doesn't mean you do it now, because you try to catch this thing on the way down. If people start panicking, man, the charts are going to be out the window in a hurry. Matter of fact, one of the things I was thinking about today is this could be the last day that support matters, especially if people start panicking. Okay. You can't really see it on the chart, but there's a 13 bottom on ETH in the bottom here, and it's not working, right? There's no way if this 13 bottom was going to result in an immediate turn up, obviously it didn't, right? I was going to maybe give it the benefit of the doubt yesterday, but it looks like an attack of 1583 is next. 1440 and overshoot to that level is possible. So, I worked in stocks when we would have these down moves. I'd come up with a level, I'd come up with an overshoot level, and then I would say we're going to have an overshoot of the overshoot by the time it's done. Because again, it's all being driven by forced selling, not by people, not by something where people go, oh, this is no good anymore. It's just ding, margin call out, right? Okay, let's go to Bitcoin. Everyone thinks they're safe in Bitcoin. I completely disagree, right? I think there's a lot of merit in the fact that the proof of work guys can get on their soapbox and say we're better than proof of stake. I'm not going to argue that, but here's what I'm going to tell you. Okay, back in January, you look over here on the left, you had a lot of candlesticks and you had a lot of wicks that went down, right? Down, right? So it would be like down and back, down and back. Those were the wicks. Now the wicks over here in 2020 in July, it's up, failed rally, up, failed rally. I mean, you had 2 failed rallies above 31,000. So annoying. This looks like ETH at the start of the thing when I was doing sell in May and go away. Maybe I got to come up with something like kaboom in June or something like that. That's going to happen because you got 2 weekly failed rallies. So you could be looking at 26, 24, or some sort of absurdity to 21. Because, to think that Bitcoin is immune from this, everybody in S&P who's going to be looking for something liquid to sell, they're just going to sell what you can. Now, why would they? Where does that phrase, sell what you can, come from? Well, it means if you got to protect yourself, if you got to be short, right? If you got to sell something to protect your long positions that are deteriorating, you're going to go to the most liquid things you can. The fastest moving liquid things you can. That's S&P futures, probably NASDAQ futures, and Bitcoin, right? They're just going to unload on this because these guys in equities, they may wind up getting a 20% return on their short positions in like a 4-day period, which could, help shelter them from what's probably going to be a limit down opening on Monday in S&P futures. Okay, Bitcoin again, 28,336. Okay, this wound up in the wrong place, but 28,336 is like the next support level. I do not expect that to hold today. It's held so many times that if they go back down there, it's gonna go through. So you're gonna go through today, or we'll have some debacle where in the middle of consensus, when everyone's distracted, as I had discussed earlier, you're gonna get 24. Okay, ETH. We went over those levels. All right, now let's go to the smaller altcoins. So Gala Games rejected 0.0848. Okay, standing room only for anything metaverse or NFT related here at consensus. I get it, but some of this stuff is in trouble from a chart point of view. There's minor support at 0.05, and the real support is at 0.033. So, if they start panicking in ETH, it stands to reason that all this other stuff on a log chart is just going to get vaporized, right? Because, if you have massive selling in S&P, massive selling in Bitcoin, right? Massive selling in ETH, where is the liquidity going to come from? Liquidity risk is something that people are going to be paying attention to after the fact. I'm trying to get everybody to pay attention to it before the fact. And normally when I tell this story, this is where I really lose people, their eyes glaze over, and they're done. But that's okay. I can present it in a really mellow way to not scare people. Everyone's like, oh, if Bitcoin goes to blank, I'll buy. Okay, really? Will the exchange mechanisms work? Or people will go, oh, okay, well, I'll just sell. Well, okay. Is there a bid? Can you get out? Can you get in or out? Because if you go to sell, who's taking it from you once this becomes obvious? Because it will become obvious after today or on Monday, right? I don't even see why crypto would wait over the weekend. Why? Okay, Maker. Okay, all this DeFi stuff, all this ETH-based collateral systems that are ETH collateralized on ETH, forget it, right? Support was at 1214. 850 is the next level, right? This thing can start moving lower in $200 increments. Okay, now the chart I just can't get anybody to listen to, even though it seems to be totally common sense to me, is, we're comparing ETH, that's, Web3, to ARK, which was, kind of Web2, or simply the altcoins of the stock market, meaning it's a bunch of stocks that were driven by hope and hype about what they could do in the future. It wasn't that their objectives weren't, impressive or noble, but it's not there yet. It's an altcoin. So the altcoins of the stock market versus their July 2021 lows, ARK is 63% below its 2021 low. July 2021 low. For ETH to do the same thing, it has to get to 1,045. What's the difference between the altcoins in the equity market and the preeminent altcoin in the stock market? I'm sorry, in the crypto market? There isn't any. Okay, MicroStrategy. Okay, I'm long Bitcoin and I'm never selling. Okay, I got that. I understand what he's trying to do. It's not that I'm rooting against him, but dude, when people get long and they never sell, right? You start attracting attention of short sellers, right? And with Luna, there's blood in the water and more sharks are coming. So if you got MicroStrategy trading at 208, MicroStrategy in July of last year was at 472. It's now at 208, down 56%. So on the bottom left, back last year, this time, Bitcoin is at 29,301. if Bitcoin does what MicroStrategy does, which you would think it would, that's 18,750. That's as of now. So these stocks continue to relentlessly drop. The downside targets in crypto relentlessly drop. Okay, on-chain data, long-term hodler pain is rising. Okay, you have to take a day off from work to understand some of these on-chain metrics, but long-term hodler SOPR, right? Long-term hodler pain is at the same level it was back in 2020 with COVID. Now, back then, Bitcoin collapsed and the Fed printed money. Now, for whatever reason, Bitcoin doesn't want to collapse, even though it's obvious. The Fed is not only not printing money, but they're going to be pulling money out and tightening until the equity market gets it. And long-term hodlers are already in a state of pain as it is. So I have no idea why anybody thinks they're safe in Bitcoin. I think the long-term hodler types are in more pain than the short-term hodler types. So what the hell happens in this market when these guys go looking for a bid? Okay, piling on massively, we have AAVE doing a clear rejection of resistance. Okay, AAVE is a very useful, like, digital decentralized sort of like bank and lending and borrowing mechanism. But what's the governance token worth? Well, I got news for you. It just rejected resistance. And if all this ETH-based collateral is going to get liquidated, all of these DeFi 1.0 tokens are going to get marked down in shocking fashion, right? Goldman Sachs on the contagion front, hidden pivot analysis. If Goldman closes today below 295, you could be looking at a 20% drop to a target at 245, right? And I don't know why that would take more than 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I mean, basically by July 14th, most large cap banking stocks are probably going to be materially lower on this whole idea of contagion, even if it's an idea. In other words, if we have contagion in crypto, we're going to have contagion in legacy. And like I said, don't believe me, look up the latest Credit Suisse earnings report. Okay, Coinbase, again, blood in the water. 84 was resistance. It got there. It failed. That stock benefited from the equities Kool-Aid rally and supports at 36, right? MicroStrategy probably got support at 89. Williams Alligator moving average system is once again possibly moving apart. So we're trying to catch the rollover in these things, right? Meaning that downtrend may just be getting started. And believe it or not, introducing the mother of all charts, Tesla. Okay. If Tesla is below 677, that's when you could have a vanishing act in both Bitcoin and equities, right? This was the leader on the way up. This is the leader of the pack. Elon Musk has got to be the most popular guy on the planet. I have no intention of, being mean to Elon Musk, even though this looks like he's going to get liquidated on Bitcoin and Tesla and whatever else he has leveraged against Tesla stock. I mean, like I said, it's a system-wide margin call. So if they got Luna, they're going to get the crypto hedge funds, they're going to get Saylor, and they're eventually going to get Tesla, right? And if Tesla starts to break down, that's just going to make it go down harder. Now, if Tesla doesn't break down, maybe I can go to consensus and not worry about it. But the fact of the matter is, if Tesla cracks, all of risk assets crack. Now, just to end the piling on, Marathon Digital, right? A Bitcoin miner was down 10% yesterday when the market was stable. Okay. There is something going on in the world of Bitcoin mining, and I think miners are selling into weakness. Now, I didn't want to gore you with on-chain data because I don't think I have to. When a Bitcoin miner is down 10%, right? When S&P is down 3% and crypto is stable, right? Something's going on with the miners, right? They're just uber long Bitcoin, and they may just have to sell in order to ride out what's going to go on over the next 6 months. So it's really, if winter is coming in their minds, that creates the near-term crash. And there may not be a winter. It may just be, incredibly volatile between wherever the bottom is and say 30 or 40K. But these guys have to get out now because the market is now transitioning into panic mode. Okay, now, if you're looking for something to buy when the market blows up, I'm watching Secret Network at 90 cents. Okay, I met the stable coin guys that run on this network, Silk. Okay, they can at least do the math. So they're good at the math behind this. If they can manage the risk, okay, it'll be an interesting thing to watch. Somebody issued an NFT on this layer one, a full movie as an NFT, first one ever, played at consensus. Okay, also their NFT platform has a privacy feature, so you can't necessarily go right-click save on whatever they've got on the network. Okay, now, as you can see, like everything else, layer one FOMO is getting completely unwound. So if they kill this thing, 90 cents is a level of interest, and that is the market update. All right, let's see what we got going on in the chat here. All right. Miners create downside liquidity force. Yes, that is possible. Okay. People are talking about XRP. Okay. Michael Saylor going to McDonald's. Okay. Inflation is killing the little people. All FUD is real. It just stands for little people's feelings from Wookie Want a Cookie. Okay. Crazy times. What is lower than 22K? Mines melt. This is true. Watch exchange coin performance today and tomorrow. The exchange coins are really dropping, right? Pat, Bill, you hodling any crypto right now? No. Right? I mean, Spin says metaverse in peril, to say the least. Guys want to gobble up, Gala Gaming. Okay. So kaboom in June. One guy says doom in June. Okay. Doom in June sounds good. I like the kaboom aspect, right? Because, there's going to be a kaboom into June 14th, then sort of some stability, and then equities are going to go on July 4th. So I got news for you. None of these hedge funds, none of these mutual funds, none of these pension fund managers, they were all buying a 3% long bond yesterday at an auction, just so you know. Hedge funds and pension funds, which are monolithic, gigantic, would rather buy a 3% long bond with 8% inflation than buy equities. Let me say that again. They would rather buy a 3% long bond with 8% inflation than buy equities. So if the big guys, if that's the way they think, where's the bid for stocks? That's a good question. Okay. That's a good question. Okay. All right. Let's look at the market. Let's just see what's going on in the market right now. Okay, so it's not falling apart on a straight line. ETH's back to 1680. Let's find the DeMark work and take a look at what that looks like. So when you're looking at ETH on a 90-minute chart, what this looks like to me is they're going 1 through 9. Okay, that's the setup phase. Sometimes on the 9 bottom, you get a counter trend rally. Sometimes I've seen them do the counter trend rally early, which is what they've done, right? So it went down. They're going to do the counter trend rally. And then by the time equity markets close, you might have a little bit of stability in ETH. And then I think it's just going to give out and go down all weekend, right? So, I mean, this is like last chance selling if they press it up to 1700 or anything anywhere near that. Okay, Bitcoin, I think, is in the same scenario. There's a lot of support at 28. I get it. That was where the last rally took off from. Okay, but when I look at the 90-minute chart on the DeMark, so here's the 8. When that's over, you'll get a 9. The uptick has already occurred, most likely, and then the trend will resume from 1 through 13. So let's go over that. Okay, 1 through 9 is the DeMark mechanism counting a certain set of conditions. Okay, and then once the certain set of conditions are met, there's a bounce in the opposite direction of the trend, and then it goes into countdown phase, which then turns around and takes it lower. So that's what's going on there. And then, some breaking news. Okay, Jack says this will likely be our most important contribution to the internet. Proud of the team for Web 5. Okay, an extra decentralized web platform. Okay, rest in peace, Web 3 VCs. Okay, so little guy innovates, big guy wins. Someone's going to build the future of the internet. It's just probably not on layer ones, right? In 2021, the thought of something better than ETH was repulsive. Okay, then, later in 2021, everybody was like, blue chips, layer ones are blue chips. Okay, Jack is basically telling you, take your layer ones and go stuff it. That's at least my initial read, right? In other words, the Bitcoin guys are going to say, we're going to build everything on Bitcoin. Like, why isn't there a DeFi? Why isn't there a Bitcoin yield curve? Why doesn't somebody say, I'm going to issue a 3-month IOU or bond in Bitcoin, and it'll have an interest rate, and the market can trade it back and forth, and we'll have a 3-month bond, a 6-month bond, a 1-year bond, a 2-year note, a 5-year note, etc. Like, why is nobody issuing debt denominated in Bitcoin and turning Bitcoin into a financial system, right? Just by having basic things like interest rates and stuff like that, right? Everyone's like, oh, well, these guys look down their nose at ETH-based DeFi and all that stuff. Yet, what are they doing to build it all on Bitcoin? Well, I don't know what Jack's doing, but, Jack wants to build it outside the world of altcoins. Well, okay, great. Let the best guy win. But, these Bitcoin maximalists, they have to get their act together. If DeFi on ETH is disappearing, if they don't build DeFi on Bitcoin, where are we going to have DeFi? So, love these guys, love innovators, love guys building stuff. You want to talk a little smack on Twitter, okay, right? But show me the money. Show me the decentralized financial system. Don't just show me the trash talk. All right, let's go over here and take a look what we got. So here's the 13 bottom in ETH, right? The support is at 1583. So, this could be the short term, like I'm expecting a puke into June 14th. So that's either going to be 1583 or 1440. And that's what the DeMark work looks like. All right. So I think it's basically best. Okay, how's Zcash looking? Thought Zcash had a shot at a bottom. And all that stuff I did in the last video, right? The one thing I forgot to say is, here are the constructive things. And if they don't hold, it's over. And none of them are holding. None of them are holding. Steve Wonders says anybody who called Build a FUD guy, should maybe give him the benefit of the doubt, right? For getting people out of the way. Okay, somebody sees a lot of dip buying in Cardano and Bitcoin. Okay, yes, there's a Cardano interview coming out this week. Cardano has just as good a chance as anybody else at this point, right? First, Cardano was everything. Then Cardano was nothing. I don't agree. Honestly, I think Cardano is something that can be taken as seriously as everybody else. And I have really good reason to believe that, when the Cardano founder says something, he believes in what he is saying. You know, in other words, he's truly into Cardano being the future, not just talking that to pump the coin. So this is stellar. We thought this was interesting. Okay, we had on token metrics, Tezos is actually showing up. Okay, one thing that's interesting about these coins, even though they're probably getting, I'm not sharing the screen. All right. One thing that's interesting about Stellar and Tezos is that they were rumored to be testnets for central bank digital currencies or new stable coins. Now, the token metrics grade is good because this was going up. This candlestick today is obviously nasty. This reaffirms some of the things that we've been saying, okay, that the best time to do homework in token metrics, okay, using token metrics is when the market's going down. Multiverse AI, right, is another one that, you know, we're really interested in, that popped up on the filter where the AI suddenly goes, ooh, this is interesting. So it's getting kind of smacked today, but these things create a list of things that you can keep looking at. So there was a big green update today. That's probably why the grade popped. And then, of course, it's back down again as the market melts down. However, these coins and this spreadsheet, right, that we publish here every day, right, very interesting. Band protocol, right, from Kraken, Tezos. Some of these coins, because we're focusing this now instead of on micro caps, we're focusing on Kraken, okay? We're focusing on KuCoin, and we're focusing on Gate.io, right? In other words, we're trying to find tokens on exchanges that the AI is going, oh, yeah, let's check this out, right? And then so like for, you know, for say, I don't know, MXC, right? Because we got the MXC description down here. Okay, data transmissions in a low power network, your free smart city Internet of Things. Okay, now when I hear working on Web3, okay, I don't really know what Web3 is. I mean, I know what it is. It's NFTs. It's the future of the art market. It's the connectivity of blockchains. But nobody really talks about the connectivity of blockchains. Nobody talks about putting it all together. I don't get it. I go to a Web3 conference, you know, and I don't know. You might as well call it, I don't know. You might as well call it Woodstock, for Christ's sake, right? You go up to these people and you say, what's Web3? I don't know what you're going to get for an answer. I should go over to the convention center and try it. What's Web3? I thought Web3 was stuff like Polkadot, where they connected all the layer one blockchains and connected all of it to Bitcoin, and you had a cross-chain future. You know, I don't think that's the answer when the NFT presentations are sold out and people are waiting 3 hours in line to hear about Beeple. You know, that's not my game. Don't know anything about it, but you know, Web3 is not FOMO. So if Jack wants to run over Web3, all right, well, then come on over here and check out what Token Metrics is telling you the future is. You don't have to listen to Jack. Jack's doing his thing, but the AI is telling you what Mr. Market is doing. Okay, so somebody out there is undoubtedly wanting to know what like the Solana roadmap looks like. So let's go to like the weekly chart of Solana. So support is at 32. I can't believe that's not going to get tested at this point. The 13 bottom is providing no bid. You have a 13 bottom on a weekly chart, and the candle for this week is probably going to wind up being red unless there's some sort of sudden reversal at the close. Which, if you got it, you should probably just unload on it. Notice if you haven't sold, you may get an opportunity. Elrond, heartbreaking. 85 was support. It broke it. It retested it twice, and then it just cracked. Now, the good news is for Elrond, this week is both a 13 and a 9 bottom. So you would think that Elrond would at least make a comeback next week. So after the 14th of June, Okay, that's when we see what Elrond's got. You're probably going to get a bounce, but the question is, how much damage are they going to do in the meantime, right? Like, how low can they take this when support didn't hold? Okay. Okay, Matic. Okay, decent support at 55 cents, right? Matic's got a 9 bottom. The last 9 bottom did produce a counter trend rally. I have some concerns that these little dojis where, you go up and then you come back down again. I mean, yeah, it's good that the bulls are making a stalemate there, but I don't know, man. I mean, if this thing turns around and you have like 3 or 4 more down weeks in Matic before you get like both the 13 and the 9 bottom, dude, I mean, I can be mellow about these things, but I don't think you can afford to be mellow about these things. I don't think you can be mellow about these things when, it's clearly falling apart, right? So somebody is asking me, do you think the ETH merger is going to do anything? Okay, yes, I think the ETH merge is going to create selling for fear of staking unlocks in the short term. And then when the ETH merge comes out, even if there is selling, it'll be by the fact. Okay, it does mean you will probably buy the fact. Okay, somebody is thanking us for adding timestamps to the video. Okay, you're welcome. We are doing the best we can. Okay, we are doing the best we can to give you the best viewing experience. Okay. Okay, somebody else was saying, Bill, I'm from Wales. Can you help me? I always hear yourself and others say, sell on green and buy on red. So what would be the correct time scale on my charts? Okay, so that's a good question, and there's no good answer. Right now, I'm doing most of my work off 8-hour charts in crypto, right? 4-hour and 89-minute charts in legacy. Okay, if you get green days, I would recommend you use them to get out between now and the 14th of July. And then somewhere in that mid-July period, there are probably going to be some horrendous red candles. There will be opportunities. If you do not protect your capital now, you will not be able to participate in the relief rally that most likely kicks off in a month. Okay, but let's not talk about the relief rally, or let's not talk about the bounce, because everybody hasn't puked it all out yet. Okay, everybody has not puked it all out yet. Okay, what do you think will crash harder, Waves, Link, or Shiba? Dude, what's going to crash is the stuff that everyone owns. That's what's going to crash, right? So what does everybody own? The venture capitalists along Solana and Avalanche, right? The venture capitalists all bought near up at 8. It's at 4, right? I mean, if these guys don't get out, what are they going to do, right? And then in terms of altcoins, again, the small stuff, it's about liquidity. Sell on green means when people are grabbing it, that's when you're giving it to them because you can get liquidity, right? It's a slang phrase, sell what you can. Sell when you have liquidity, because that's what the big guys are doing, man. They're looking for liquidity, right? They kept, ETH kept going up to 1,800, right? It'd go up there, they'd squeeze all the shorts, and then the big guys would just, and then it just gives out, right? Because they're just unloading on it. They got to, right? If you're running a stable coin and it's got ETH as part of the collateral, you have to hedge. You have to get out of the ETH and move to something else until this is over. So anyone who's not doing risk management in this environment is going to get wiped out, right? I see all these shirts at Consensus that say HODL. Dude, HODL in your mind, right? I guess if you got a bunch of Bitcoin and you don't care if it goes to 7K, well, then you can HODL. But I guarantee if it goes to 7K, you're going to care. And everyone goes, oh, well, I would love to see Bitcoin at 7K. I was like, no, you wouldn't, because ETH would be at 12, right? And I say that to people, and it's the end of the conversation. And I actually didn't say that yesterday because I knew it would have been the end, right? Like if Bitcoin's at 7K, where is everything else? Or if Bitcoin is at NK, where is everything else? That's the thing. You have to start asking yourself this question, right? What happens if Bitcoin dominance rises dramatically on the way down. I mean, if equities are hosed, what is going to happen to speculative assets? I have been saying this since April. The Fed wants speculative assets down, and that includes the ones that you own, unfortunately. So even though your altcoins are near and dear to your heart, even though you did the research, you did the work, Jay Powell does not want your altcoins to do anything except go to zero. He wants no speculative fraud. Now you're like, Bill, I'm just a guy. I'm trying to put gas in my car. I'm trying to make money. Dude, I get it. I get it. And I'm trying to help you by not having your capital destroyed when the Fed chairman is just coming through with the hydrogen bomb, right? Because they won't listen in equities. Like, we suffer because they're stupid over there. They're just stupid. They will not listen to what the Fed is saying. And they're going to dare the Fed to drop the hammer, and the hammer is going to get dropped. The hammer's going to get dropped. I mean, he's going to step up to the podium and start talking like Paul Volcker, right? You don't know who Paul Volcker is, you need to look him up. He raised rates to 20% in the 80s to stop inflation. Let me say that again, 20%. Okay, 15, 20% rates to stop it. And Jay Powell has said that he thinks Paul Volcker's a great guy and he admires him. And this is the guy that's going to do like one or two tightenings and done. So equities can go up and the froth can continue and rich people continue to buy gas and steak to the point where poor people can't eat or drive around. Cartels in Texas are stealing mopeds that use low fuel consumption, and they're reselling them on the black market without license plates or registration, and people don't care. The cops can pull me over and give me a ticket. I cannot put $150 worth of gas in my car to get to work. So I'll drive an illegal moped instead. The Fed doesn't know this. The Fed is not aware of the level of stress that is going on. There's no liquidity in the oil market, folks. That's why oil is continuing to go up. And the same thing is going to happen to crypto on the way down. Because when you have a shock, like, they had the shock with the Russia war, crypto had the shock with Luna. When you have shocks, you have less liquidity. So now when everybody has to go buy oil, if China's going to reopen, there's no offer. There's no seller. So they just have to bid it up. It's going to destroy people. If Jay Powell doesn't wreck equities, who the hell knows where gas is going to go? Probably so many people are typing in on Google, where are gas prices going? I could probably make a whole video about gas prices. Where's anything going if Jay Powell does not come to the rescue and drop stonks? Or if stonks just don't wake up and drop themselves? That would be refreshing. Right? If the Fed wants it down, then get it down. Because if they have to come in and force it down, that's not going to end well. That's Rectember. Really. That's Rectember, Rocktober, and God knows what for the midterm elections. All right, people, I got to go to consensus. Let's see if there's anything else I can answer here. I got to get over there and get you some alpha. Spin says Jay could not boil water. Okay, yeah, that's possible. But all he has to do is hit the red button, okay, and be like, I'm done with this. I'm done. All he has to do is step up to a microphone, tap on it, and go, see it. Okay, and crypto's caught in this. So let's review. Let's review what I've told you. I've gone on and on and on about 1929, about system-wide margin calls, how it's not personal against crypto, and I've done it to the point where I'm exhausted and I'm this close from being a pariah in the crypto system because, Notorious Bill can be notorious all he wants, but no one's listening. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to stop being notorious, but I do have to mellow out and just deliver the message calmly, right? And that's good because now is the time to calmly react and calmly change your book and adjust things so you don't get killed. Because if this looks like what I think it looks like, everyone is just going to sell all at once out of nowhere. There's nowhere to time it, but I can't believe everyone's going to lead the legacy press this weekend, and nobody in the legacy universe is going to go away for July 4th unhedged. They're going to like, shit, we have to adjust our book right now. There's no way I'm going to the beach knowing that Jay Powell is coming to get me. So I need to adjust whatever I'm doing, and they have been in la-la land. So this is the second day out of la-la land for equities. Now in crypto, we know things are messed up, but again, you know, the number of people that need to sell ETH and the number of people that think they're safe in Bitcoin, both of those numbers are scary, right? Everyone's acting like altcoins can go down in a vacuum and Bitcoin is fine. Negative, Ghost Rider. That is not the way it is. All right, people, I got to get the consensus alpha for you. This has got to be good for the weekend. Net, please be smart. And if you got to go back and watch videos, one video talks about don't get too down. Crypto has a future. If crypto breaks, it could really break. All right. The other videos are out there. Check them out. Most importantly, hit the subscribe button. And you know what, folks? We're still trying to get to 1,000 likes. People keep asking me, how many likes do you get on your videos? I'm like, well, you know, I appreciate every like I get, but come on, people, let's go to 1,000. Give me that 4-digit love. All right. So that's the market update for today. This is Bill Noble. We will see you on Monday.